Adrian N. Breitfelder, City Clerk, you are hereby directed to call a regular session of the City Council to be held on Tuesday, January 17th, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. in the historic Federal Building for the purpose of conducting such business that may properly come before the City Council.
Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to a regular session of the Dubuque City Council for January 17th, 2023. As a reminder to our participants, you can provide in-person input or virtual audio and written input during the sections of the agenda where public input is accepted. Input options during the live meeting include: in-person attendees may approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any public input on the item they would like to speak to. Remote attendees can log into GoToMeeting using the login links, phone numbers, and access code that appear on the broadcast and live stream and posted on the front page of the meeting agenda. This option includes audio input and written chat input. If you are participating via computer, indicate which item you would like to speak to in the chat function, or note that you would like to speak during the appropriate section. If you are participating via phone, indicate which item you would like to speak to during the appropriate section. All comments, whether in person or virtual, must be accompanied by a name and address. Additionally, written public input is accepted by contacting the City Council directly from the city's webpage at www.cityofdubuque.org/councilcontacts and through the City Clerk's office email at ctyclerk@cityofdubuque.org. This information will be reiterated during the meeting. Attendance for the session is as follows: Mayor Pro Tem Roussel.
Here.
Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here.
Thank you. Council members Farber.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Resnick.
Here.
Sprank.
Here.
Wethel.
Here.
Thank you. City Manager Van Milligan.
Here.
And City Attorney Brumwell.
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Roussel, I will turn it over to you for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I would invite all who are able to please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move on to proclamations. Our proclamation tonight is Dubuque Eagles Eyes on the Future Month.
Thank you. And I see that Mr. Michael Deere is here to accept the proclamation.
Hi, Michael.
Would you like to go ahead and give us your name and address and any comments you'd like to give us about the proclamation?
Yes. Michael Deere, 1575 Wood Street, Dubuque, Iowa. Proud citizen of Dubuque for many, many years. This proclamation is given yearly as the Eagles Eyes in the Futures Month, and we want to thank the Mayor, City Council, and citizens of Dubuque for this prestigious acknowledgement. And also we'd like to thank for the prestigious acknowledgement and a proclamation last fall when Mayor Kavanaugh came to, and Danny Sprank came to our ceremony at Dolores College celebrating hitting $250,000 in our first 14 years given to the homeless, the hungry, our veterans, education to youth groups, and homeless animals. And we want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Your students always do an excellent job of serving our community, and I always enjoy working with them. Thank you. City of Dubuque Proclamation. Whereas in January 2008, founder and chairman Michael Deere met with Loras College student Matt Maloney to lay out a vision for college and high school students who have a passion for service to join a journey to empower people, make a profound investment in people, to be a resourceful partner with citizenship, and to follow their passion to heed a call to service and help those less fortunate. And whereas the Dubuque Eagles Eyes on the Future Committee members include students from Loras College, Clark University, University of Dubuque, Wahlert Catholic High School, Senior High School, and Hempstead High School. And whereas Michael Deere is the founder and chairman of Eagles Eyes on the Future Committee, now in its 14th year. The Eyes on the Future Committee hit a milestone last fall of raising $250,000 in its first 14 years of existence. And whereas, since January of 2008, the Eagles Eyes on the Future Committee has raised funds for many local initiatives and organizations, including college scholarships, local college education funds, homeless shelters, health centers, children's programming, food pantries, veteran services, and many more. Now therefore, I, Laura J. Roussel, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, staff, and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2023 as Dubuque Eagles Eyes on the Future Month in the City of Dubuque, Iowa, and recognize the extraordinary and continued efforts of the Dubuque Eagles Eyes on the Future Committee for their volunteer work and engaged citizenship.
Thank you, City Council.
See you, Mike.
Adrian?
We will move on to consent items. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the consent items, please approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any in-person input and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Please state the item you would like removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and consideration, and consent items can be found on pages 2 through 4 of the agenda.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in chambers who would like to hold any of the consent items? Do we have anyone virtually?
No one virtually.
All right, I'll bring it back to the table.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Resnick.
Yes, I move to receive and file the documents, adopt the resolutions, and deal with the consent items as recommended.
Second by Farber.
Thank you. We have a motion by Resnick, second by Farber. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Farber,
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
We will move on to items set for public hearing, and we have one resolution setting a public hearing on a proposed development agreement by and between the City of Dubuque, Iowa, and Switch Development, LLC, for the issuance of urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligations pursuant to the development agreement for February 6th, 2023.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Resnick.
Yes, I move to receive and file, adopt the resolution, and set the public hearing for February 6, 2023.
Second by Sprank.
Thank you. We have a motion by Resnick, second by Sprank, to set the public hearing for February 6, 2023. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Farber,
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
We will move on to public hearings. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the public hearing items, please approach the podium when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any in-person input for the public hearing you would like to speak to and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function and state your question, or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input for the public hearing you would like to speak to. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Public hearing number 1 is amend Unified Development Code Section 16-11-8, Subdivision Design Standards, and Section 16-13-3, Site Development Requirements.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Jones.
I move to receive and file the communications and further move that the requirement that a proposed ordinance be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting at which it is to be finally passed be suspended.
Second by Sprank.
Thank you. We have a motion by Jones, second by Sprank, and a staff report by Wally.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Roussel and City Council members. Wally Wermont, Planning Services Manager, the City of Dubuque. So The request before you tonight is to amend the Unified Development Code, primarily our subdivision regulations and our site plan regulations, to implement an ordinance to follow what we currently do policy-wise with regards to extension of utilities. And when we talk about extension utilities, we're talking about streets, sanitary sewer, water mains, street lights, fiber optic networks, and bike hike trails, amongst some others. So currently, that's a current policy. I've been involved with the city of Dubuque for 20 years. This is something we've always done policy-wise. We're just putting it into ordinance to be a little bit more transparent to our developers and add a little bit more information in case someone has any questions about, is this a policy or is this a requirement? Well, it's an ordinance now, it's a requirement. This is something that we've always done. It's very similar to what other cities are already doing currently by ordinance. This is just something that we're looking at amending. So it came before the Zoning Advisory Commission during a public hearing. There were no public comments, and by a vote of 5-0, the Zoning Advisory Commission recommends the City Council approve the text amendment. I'm available if you have any questions this time, or thank you.
Thank you. We are in a public hearing to consider a request to amend the Unified Development Code, Section 16-11-8, Subdivision Design Standards, and Section 16-13-3, Site Development Requirements. And the Zoning Advisory Commission is recommending approval. Is there anyone in chambers to address this item? Okay. Is there anyone virtual?
No one virtually.
All right, we'll bring it back to the table for discussion. Any questions or comments? Mr. Mayor, is there anything you wanted to add?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion by Jones, a second by Sprank. And Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Jones,
I move final consideration and passage of the ordinance.
Second by Sprank.
thank you. We have a motion by Jones, second by Sprank. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Public hearing number 2 is amend Dubuque Technology Park planned unit development.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Jones,
I move to receive and file the communications and further move that the requirement that a proposed ordinance be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting at which is to be finally passed be suspended.
Second by Farber.
thank you. We have a motion by Jones, second by Farber, and staff report by Wally.
Yes, once again, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Wally Wermont, Planning Services Manager. The request before you tonight is to amend the Dubuque Technology Park Plan Unit Development to accommodate a fiber optic hub network facility at that place. Currently, there is a fiber optic hub that was constructed next to our Central Avenue Fire Station by 32nd Street on Central Avenue. They were looking on a location on the south side of town. They've been working with our IT manager, Chris Coleman, and Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, hopefully to locate an existing facility in the Dubuque Technology Park that had not worked out. So they're looking at areas of pieces of land in that proximity, and there is a small triangular piece of property that's included in your pack that kind of shows you the vicinity map. That parcel is currently located at the conjunction of Digital Drive and Lake Eleanor Road. There is a platted county right-of-way that goes through it. There's a lot of utilities identified in that current piece of property. However, when the planned unit development was created for the Dubuque Technology Park, that area was identified as public open space. And the ordinance that established that PUD identifies it as such. In addition, we're also looking at amending that area to include a new Zone C, which would allow fiber optic hub networks. And then also we modified the setback requirements in order to accommodate a closer setback to the property line. With the construction of that fiber optic hub, there will be a site plan required for screening and everything for that small building, which will be about 12 by 20. The Zoning Advisory Commission held a public hearing. We notify all property owners within the planned unit development, within 200 feet of the planned unit development. There were no public comments. The applicant, Joe Myers, is present here if you had any questions of him. And then also we have our Zoning Advisory Commission Chairperson, Matt Mulligan, present. Otherwise, by a vote of 5-0, the Zoning Advisory Commission recommends that the City Council approve the request. That's all I
Thank you.
have.
Thank you. We are in a public hearing to consider a request to amend the Dubuque Technology Park Planned Unit Development, and the Zoning Advisory Commission is recommending approval. Is there anyone in the chambers to address this item? Anyone virtual?
No one virtually.
Any comments from the table? Mr. Mayor, anything from you?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Ms.
Thank
Mayor
you.
Pro Tem?
Yes.
This question for Mr. Van Milligan. So I know we're looking for redundancy and we're looking for lots of opportunities and perhaps a potential opportunity out at the Industrial Park West and for other technology issues. Is that what we're looking for, redundancy, or we just need to replace what we have?
Well, in this case, this is part of the effort that the mayor and city council have partnered with Imon Communications, where they're going to provide fiber optic cable to every home and business in town over a 3-year period. And so part of that, so this will be, I'll say 2023 will be year one, even though it's like year 1.5 maybe. But part of that process will be that they are creating loops in the community so that if there is a fiber cut, everything just reverses itself and there's no blip on the radar screen for any of the users. Now, I'm not a technical person, so I can't specifically speak to this particular location, how that fulfills that. But I know that an Imon representative is here. I don't know if you wanted to add anything from a technical perspective.
No, you're absolutely
If you're going to talk, you got to come to the microphone. Yep.
State your name and
If you could introduce yourself and then,
My name is Joe Myers. My address is 683 6th Avenue, Conroy, Iowa. Nobody knows where that is. Don't worry about it. But no, so we do build on a ring configuration. So when one side is cut, that the other side, if it's cut or, any damage comes to it, it does automatically switch to the other side. And we'll be offering just streaming services and a video product as well, I believe. So the South Hub is going to be taken over. I got one north and I got one south, two complete extremes. But since it is fiber, we can go quite a long ways, as far as, because we got 8th Street, the old AT&T hub site. We utilize that right now. So, and then there's some other places that we got in with the city. Pennsylvania, Water Tower up there on Pennsylvania and Northwest Arterial. So, but we do build in a ring configuration, and and as we run our stuff too, we will pull stuff back for, like, if Dave, or if they want to pipe in there, we'll a lot of times pull back. So we've been working pretty closely with the city for the last, probably 2.5, 3 years. Did that answer a question, or?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much for your help.
Okay.
thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion by Jones, second by Farber. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprang,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Farber,
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Jones?
I move final consideration and passage of the ordinance.
Second by Farber.
We have a motion by Jones, second by Farber. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprang,
Aye.
Resnick,
Aye.
Roussel,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Farber,
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
We will move on to public input. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting may address the City Council on the action items on the agenda or on matters under the control of the City Council. For all in-person attendees, please approach the podium and state your name and address when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any in-person input. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the Mayor Pro Tem asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Individual remarks are limited to 5 minutes, and the overall public input period is limited to 30 minutes. Under the Iowa Open Meetings Law, the City Council can take no formal action on comments given during public input or that do not relate to the action items on the agenda.
Is there anyone in chambers who would like to speak this evening? Anyone virtual?
No one virtually.
All right.
We will move on to action items then. Action item number 1 is amending the declaration of covenants, conditions, restrictions, reservations, easements, liens, and charges for the Dubuque Industrial Center.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem,
Resnick.
yes, I move to receive and file and adopt the resolutions.
Second by Farber.
We have a motion by Resnick, second by Farber. Mike, please.
Thank you. City Manager Mike Van Milligan. Economic Development Director Jill Connors is recommending City Council adopt the attached resolutions approving amendment to the Declaration of Covenants, Conditions, Restrictions, Reservations, Easements, Liens, and Charges for the Dubuque Industrial Center West and South. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Do we have any questions, comments? All right, we have a motion by Resnick, second by Farber. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Action item number 2 is Greater Dubuque Development Corporation's You Can Be Great Here campaign videos.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Jones.
I move to receive and file and view the videos.
Second by Sprank.
All right, we have a motion by Jones, second by Sprank. Let's watch the video.
Sometimes in life you gotta go out in order to go up. I'm originally born and raised in Las Vegas. I'm a third generation casino employee. I got a call from good old Dubuque, Iowa. And my wife and I, we toured the town and really we fell in love. We fell in love with the community, we fell in love with the schools, we fell in love with the broader business ecosystem. So in August of 2021, we moved our family, 3 kids, 15 and twins are 13, here to Dubuque, Iowa. And we literally couldn't have made a better decision. This is a great place to live. Great quality of life, low cost of living, a booming economy. We've got all the right ingredients to really help this community continue to thrive. We are quaint and robust. You can be heard, you can be seen, and you can make an impact on day one if you choose to.
That's awesome and inspirational. We all love it here.
We're located in Farley, Iowa, been around since 1987, at this present facility since 1999.
We started out with 1 employee back in Holy Cross. Today we have about 180 employees.
We manufacture trailers for the industrial, agricultural, utility telecom, and OEM markets.
This year we're putting up 2 new buildings. All total we'll have probably around 370,000 square feet when done.
We're expecting to add somewhere around 35 to 40 jobs based on the expansion.
We've been working with Greater Dubuque for 15 plus years.
Over those years, we've had a number of investments, and they've been just instrumental in helping us with each and every single one of those investments.
They help with getting TIF through the city, grants, sales tax incentives.
Kind of telling us what's available for us, what advantages we might be able to get, what the community has to offer.
So it's just a great relationship. We know we can always pick up the phone if we have questions.
We don't really have time to research and do all that stuff. We're busy running our business, so it's nice that they can be a resource for us to lean on. And we've been picking up a lot of new customers, expanding into new industries, so we're expecting some continued growth, and we're really excited about it.
We chose from a very intentional perspective to really invest in housing, and opportunities are there. We know how to grow the community. We have to grow the housing along with it. And it can't come through only apartments or only, your more higher end homes. We really got to fill that middle market. And so that's where we put a lot of emphasis. What we need in Dubuque is we want to really build a multi-generational community. It's centric around sustainability, around affordability. We want to be very methodical and not lose what makes it special. But at the same time, if we're going to continue to attract talent, it's going to take folks in the community at the business level to continue to really invest in Dubuque. The GDDC has a very intentional mindset. And so what it's led to is a partnership in which, this housing community now has the strength and knowledge of the GDDC plus the backing of the city. And when you look at the future of Dubuque, it has the infrastructure in place to really grow intentionally and methodically. That's really what we're going for. So that young talent that's taking a job at Cottingham and Butler, or maybe they're coming to Conlin Construction, they've got a place to go.
All right. Any comments?
Nice.
All right. We have a motion by Jones, second by Sprank. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Thank you.
And that motion carried 7-0, and so we will move on to council member reports.
Thank you, Adrian. I'd like to start out council member reports with sharing our sympathy for our colleague, Katie Wethel, on the loss of her grandmother, Lorna McLean. Katie's not here with us tonight, but we're sending our thoughts and prayers to her family. Thank you. Any other council member reports?
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Jones.
Last Monday night, we kicked off Special Olympics with your remarks and torch lighting, and a pretty fun night, and 2 days of exceptional fun for our athletes and guests and coaches. Several hundred visitors to Dubuque that can't wait to come back again next year. So good job.
Great. It was a wonderful, wonderful event. Anyone else? All right. There being no further business?
Mayor Pro Tem, this is
yes.
Mayor Kavanaugh.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, not to extend things too long. That's okay. I am still here. I wanted to mention really briefly that with what Mr. Jones just brought up, it was such a wonderful event in Dubuque. I had an opportunity the next day to join you actually to be able to see some of the events of Special Olympics, and it's such a treasure to have here in Dubuque every single winter. So thank you and Mr. Jones for all the work that you do, and then obviously all the volunteers and everyone who coordinates that. And I also just wanted to mention, we're having this meeting on a Tuesday because yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and it was the community breakfast early in the morning was back. And it was very, very nice to see everyone there and get people together again for that event. We've missed it for the last couple of years. I really do think it's an important opportunity for us to all gather as a community every day on that same day of the year to remember, not just remember Dr. King's legacy, but then also discuss some of the ways that we can continue to build upon it. So I just wanted to make sure that we mention that, and thank you all for your attendance to that.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
Nope, that was it. Thank you.
All right. And
Mayor Pro Tem?
yes,
Oh.
yes, Ms. Wethel.
Hi, Katie Wethel. Thank you so much for your condolences. I appreciate that very much and miss being there tonight with you all. I just wanted to mention on Sunday, the Black Thread art exhibit opening celebration was held at the Dubuque Museum of Art. And I'm not going to pretend to explain it, but it's a very touching and dramatic way to look at the history of our country's population of people of color migrating into our country and what that looked like. It was a powerful presentation by artist Jill Wells and a great opening at the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque. So such a really welcoming event and also very fitting as we celebrate the life of Dr. King.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Mr. Resnick.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that Mitzi Yordi is here from the Grand River Center, who was very instrumental in helping us with that event on Monday, Special Olympics. So thank you again for all your help. And I just wanted to just talk about it in general. You mentioned it. There's such a positive vibe heading into 2023 here in Dubuque. I know there's going to be challenges, but there are so many great things that our staff and our citizens are doing that are just exciting right now. So I just wanted to let you know my general tenor and mood is I'm really looking forward to this, and I think I think our city's going to really have a great year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. And now, there being no further business, we stand adjourned.